Alright, what is going on guys, it's Tazz here, and welcome back to the channel for another Arrow video. And in this video, what I want to talk to you guys about is the recent news of some returning characters to the show. But if you guys aren't caught up with the season so far, or you guys just don't want any spoilers going forward in the show, it's not major spoilers, but just returning characters. So if you guys don't want to know any of the returning characters going forward, I suggest clicking off now. But if you do, let's get into the video. So the first returning character that I want to talk to you guys about is the Earth 2 Laurel Lance, aka the Black Siren. So we've known about her coming back for a while now, I think around a month or so. We knew that she was going to come back towards the end of the season for the last few episodes, and it's just been confirmed that she will be back towards the end of the season in the last few episodes. We don't really know any specifics of why maybe she's going to be coming back onto the show. Maybe she will sort of have a redemption arc in season 6, so she might start out at the end of this season helping out Prometheus and stuff, but maybe sort of realize the error of her ways and have sort of a redemption arc towards the end of the season and going forward as a series regular in season 6. Now, the next character is one that, again, we've kind of known about for a while here, and that is because the actor has actually been kind of teasing it on his Twitter account, asking people, like, have you missed him or anything on the show, and this character is Captain Boomerang, and we haven't seen Captain Boomerang since, I think, around, what was it? I think it was season 3, I want to say. I'm not 100% sure. I think it was season 3. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. I think it was season 3 when they had that Arrow Flash crossover. I think it was one of the first Arrow Flash crossovers that they had when they had Captain Boomerang and everything in it. So we haven't seen him since around that crossover with the Flash that Arrow had. Even though Captain Boomerang is actually normally a Flash villain, he's sort of an Arrow villain in the Arrowverse of TV shows. But the actor's been teasing the character's return, and it's actually been confirmed that he will be returning towards the end of the season, most likely in the finale of season 5. And you guys might be wondering, why do I think that he's coming back in the finale of season 5? Well, if you guys remember, he is actually locked up on Lian-Yu on the sort of Argus prison on the island. And if you guys aren't aware, the actual finale title for Arrow season 5 is called Lian-Yu. So it sort of leads me to believe that the finale will actually take place back on the island, sort of back where everything started. The final showdown between Green Arrow and Prometheus sort of will start where the Green Arrow journey actually began, which I thought is actually really cool, as sort of a nice way to sort of bring the show all full circle, sort of at the end of this chapter of the Green Arrow's life. And it was sort of, the show was originally planned to be sort of this 5-season journey for Oliver, starting from him getting off the island to him sort of, I guess, now ending back up on the island, trying to defeat sort of one of his greatest enemies, sort of like physically and psychologically, with Prometheus, and sort of defeating him on the island, or at least fighting him on the island in the finale, seems very fitting. Now, the next returning character is probably the one that everybody's been waiting for, the sort of the character that everybody's wanted to come back on the show for a while now, and they haven't been on the show since season 3, and that character is Slade Wilson, aka Deathstroke. So yeah, you guys heard me right. Deathstroke will actually be returning to Arrow Season 5 in the finale. It has actually been confirmed by one of the showrunners, Mark Guggenheim. He actually came out and said that it is confirmed that he is coming to the show, because Stephen Amell did actually tweet out something. He tweeted out a picture of the Deathstroke helmet, and I think the caption said something like, "Desperate times call for desperate measures." So that is just absolutely awesome, and there's a little context behind it, which I will tell you guys right now. So before this news even came out, I think it was around a week or so ago, we did actually know that Oliver was going to have to team up with a quote-unquote unlikely ally or something along those lines, as he was supposed to team up with somebody that we never would have thought that he would actually have to team up with to actually end up defeating Prometheus. So originally I thought that maybe he would sort of get Talia to help him out and sort of turn her away from helping out Prometheus and sort of persuade her to actually end up helping him. But then with all this Deathstroke news and everything, it actually comes a little bit more clearly now, and it seems like he's actually going to have to end up teaming up with Deathstroke. to actually help him defeat Prometheus, and he also might end up actually getting help from Captain Boomerang as well, considering that he will actually return on the show and he is locked up on Lian Yu, same as Deathstroke is. And sort of just thinking about it now, you can actually kind of think about it as being kind of ironic that he's going to have to team up with Deathstroke to actually defeat Prometheus, because before Prometheus, Deathstroke was kind of that sort of villain for him, you know, is they're very similar in their sort of motivations, is because they're after Oliver for very personal reasons. They're not trying to sort of completely destroy Star City or anything. I mean, Deathstroke did kind of, you know, do kind of a big thing to Star City anyway, but I mean, Prometheus, his whole thing is that it's very personal to Oliver and sort of the people that he surrounds himself with, and it was sort of that same way for Deathstroke. He was trying to get at Oliver he ended up sort of going after his city, but it was all to sort of get at Oliver, get back at him for what he's done in the past. But it just kind of seems like it's going to be a sort of scenario with the enemy of my enemy is my friend, in a sort of way like that. I don't know sort of why Deathstroke doesn't like Prometheus, but you know, I'm pretty sure there's going to be some sort of there's possibly going to be some sort of history between the two of them as well, and maybe Deathstroke wants to sort of take out Prometheus just as much as Oliver wants to, and it's going to be sort of that kind of thing, like I said, a enemy of my enemy is my friend type of situation. Now, the next and final character that has actually been confirmed to come back to Arrow Season 5 around the finale or in the finale is actually Nyssa Al Ghul. Now, we haven't actually seen Nyssa on Arrow since last season, and it does seem pretty fitting to have her back around the finale or in the finale, given that Talia, her sister, is actually working with Prometheus this season, so it would seem pretty fitting to have her come back, help out Oliver, take out Prometheus and Talia in the end of the season. And now, this is something that I've actually been thinking about well before we actually knew that the finale was going to be on Lian Yu, well before we knew that Nyssa was actually going to come back onto Arrow, and this is sort of what I thought about once we first saw Talia on the show, and I thought it would actually be pretty cool if we sort of got a fight between Oliver and Nyssa versus Prometheus and Talia, because it just sort of seems very fitting, sort of seems very sort of like a very even fight. You know, it just seems pretty cool because Prometheus sort of has a sort of darker version of Oliver's season 1 suit, obviously, and Talia and Nyssa are sisters. They've obviously been trained the same way, trained with the League of Assassins and everything, so I just think that that would actually be a really, really cool fight to see sort of a 2v2 at the end of the season, see Talia take on Nyssa and Oliver take on Prometheus on Lian Yu, sort of where it all started for Oliver and everything, and I just think that that would be a really, really cool way to end the season with sort of that 2v2 fight between all of them on Lian Yu. And with that, I think this wraps up the video. So I want to know your guys' thoughts on these returning characters. I want to know who you guys are most excited to see return to Arrow Season 5. I think it would probably be Deathstroke for me, just because Deathstroke was one of my favorite villains on the show. Now Prometheus is definitely a pretty close second, but I definitely think that Deathstroke returning is probably my favorite. I want to know your guys' thoughts down in the comments below. Who are you most excited to see returning? But yeah, until next time, guys, it's been Tazz, and I will see you guys in the next video.